Hello, class of 2021, English majors, families, and friends. I'm Claire Waters, a professor in the English department and the current director of undergraduate studies. The faculty have all been amazed by and appreciative of the work of all our students this year under extremely difficult circumstances, and we want to recognize and celebrate the achievements of our graduating seniors in particular. We're glad that some of you will be able to have an in-person graduation ceremony. We wish you could be there to cheer for you in person, but please know that we're cheering for you in spirit. Today, it's my honor to thank this year's peer advisors and to present the following awards, which have been established and supported by generous friends, and in some cases, former faculty of the department. The Lois Ann Latin Rosenberg English Department Essay Prize, the Peter Hayes Prize for the Best Writing in a First-Year Seminar, the Elliott Gilbert Award for the Best Critical Thesis, the Lois Ann Latin Rosenberg Outstanding Graduating Senior Award, and department citations in the major for students who showed consistently high achievement as English majors. This year, we were fortunate to have 4 multi-talented peer advisors who organized workshops and social events from pre-law advising to literary trivia nights, helping sustain community and maintain connection despite our distance from one another. Tanya Casas, Alyssa Hayes, Jenny Shao, and Helena Sherman, thank you for all your work. To Jenny and Helena, many congratulations on your graduation. In the competition for the Lois Ann Latin Rosenberg English Department Essay Prize for the best essay written in an upper division English class, an honorable mention this year goes to Mimi McMillan for her essay Whitman's and Dickinson's Ecology of the Grave, which examines with great finesse varied poetic treatments of bodily material and burial. McMillan makes an insightful contrast between the way that Whitman's poetry occasionally brackets an ecological perspective on human death and decomposition in the service of a larger nationalist interest, and Dickinson's more critical perspective on burial and Christian resurrection. Second prize goes to Claire Volkmann's Drawn from Imagination, which takes us on an art historical tour of the illustrations that have accompanied Frances Hodgson Burnett's novel, A Little Princess, over time. These encompass the early woodblock prints of Reginald Bathurst Birch, the Art Nouveau-inspired watercolors of Ethel Franklin Betts, and the modern child-focused watercolors of Barbara McClintock. Volkmann's essay speaks perceptively and elegantly to these illustrations' portrayal of the child protagonist, her vulnerability, and her imagination. And first prize in the Rosenberg Essay Contest goes to Teja Dusanapudi for Paradise Aborted, a brilliant exploration of competing ideas about human generation in Milton's Paradise Lost. Despite God's blessing to be fruitful and multiply, and the hyper-productive fruit trees of the garden that imply fertility, Dusanapudi notes, Eve is unable to conceive a child in Eden, and he cannily suggests that it is the abortive moment of the fall, one that interrupts nature, that permits Eve and Adam to succeed finally in the form of reproduction more appropriate for their human condition. The Peter Hayes Prize for the best writing in a first-year seminar has 2 winners this year, Serene Liu for That Beautiful Elusive Bird, and Audrey Luo for The Hero That Never Was, the case of Wu Sa-Kwan. The committee was delighted with the quality of this year's entries, but noted that these 2 essays stood out. They took different approaches, one a conventional research paper in style, the other more creative, but both equally excellent in their distinctive ways. The Elliott Gilbert Award given each year recognizes the best critical thesis written in the English department. This year, an honorable mention goes to Caitlin Liu for Chinese American history and layered storytelling in Maxine Hong Kingston's China Men. Liu's thesis interweaves lived family histories with Kingston's narrative, invoking a striking range of fictional, photographic, print media, and legal sources to provide a rich and nuanced account of, in her words, the complex web of knowns and unknowns, facts and fictions, and truth and lies that make up the personal histories and identities of these Chinese immigrant men in the time of the Chinese Exclusion Act. The winner of this year's Elliott Gilbert Award is Mimi McMillan for her thesis, Like Footsteps Upon Wool, Philology, Ecology, and Tennyson's Early Lyrics. McMillan's perceptive and creative readings of these lyrics in their natural worlds alert to sound, cyclicity, and repetition, the rendering of sense and sentience, and the decentering of the human lyric voice convincingly established the role of animate nature and distributed lyric agencies within the poems. Her original research on and argument about 19th century philology, which shows how its conception of language was modeled on 19th century geology and other studies of the natural world, counters a tendency in eco-criticism to contrast the discursive and the material. Her conjunction of close readings with their historical and theoretical framework shows that Tennyson's poetry is specially attuned to natural animacies and thus worth revisiting today, as it provides a model for conceptualizing a dynamic and living earth. And finally, the Lois Ann Latin Rosenberg Outstanding Graduating Senior Award. It's always difficult to choose just one of our stellar students for this award, and this year's committee felt that 3 students were deserving of honorable mention for both their exceptional work in their courses and their contributions to community. Karen Kay's work to support marginalized students and tutor incarcerated people make it wonderfully clear how she is putting her study of English into practice, and she plans to continue doing this as a teacher. Matthew Pimley wrote not 1 but 2 honors theses and is a founder of the undergraduate literary journal Open Ceilings, an impressive achievement and a real contribution to our major. John Wright stood out for his engagement in courses and his excellent writing, as well as his attention to questions of race and social justice. Congratulations and thanks to Karen, Matthew, and John. This year's winner of the Outstanding Graduating Senior Award is Ruth Christopher. Like her fellow transfer students, Ruth was only partway through her first year on campus at Davis when the pandemic hit, but she had already made an enormous impression on the faculty she worked with. Despite the personal challenges that COVID-19 brought to her, as it did to so many, she not only maintained her very high level of academic achievement, but found the strength and inspiration in the wake of the murder of George Floyd to ask herself what she could do. And the answer drew on her experience as a creative writer. With her fellow poets, Cyrus Sepabodi and Arthur Kazakian, she founded Madmouth Poetry, a collective of multicultural poets working together in mutual support to create community. Their work began by centering the voices of Black poets and artists in the curated performance series, Black Poets Matter. It's a great pleasure and an honor to recognize these 2021 graduates and all our 2021 graduates whose lives and college experiences have been so much changed by the events of the past year and a half, and who have shown such resilience, determination, and grace in the face of those innumerable challenges. I'll conclude by recognizing those who, by their consistently outstanding work, have earned a GPA of 3.7 or above in upper division English coursework. Students earning this departmental citation, whether on the creative writing track or the literary criticism theory track, have studied global literatures in English from the medieval period through the 21st century and have learned to work with poetry and narrative through a range of critical and disciplinary lenses, from gender and sexuality to media studies, from African-American literature to film criticism, from post-colonial and diasporic literatures to literature and law. And they have developed their own voices as critical and creative writers. It's truly a pleasure to celebrate and recognize them. Here are the students who earned a departmental citation in the major this year. Ashley Arucha, Patricia Bennett, Julieta Bisharian, Olivia Blanco, Catherine Booth, Tynan Brooks, Megan Browdy, Blair Butler, Annette Campos Carrillo, Victoria Choi, Ruth Christopher, Lucero Cortes Viterbo, Diana Cruz, Brigitte Davigno, Emily De Paz, Marco Di Pasquale, Wyatt Diaz, Emma Douglas, Mina Espinosa, Katlin Fleck, Diana Gasparian, Elena Granalos, Benton Harshaw, Jennifer Heath, Suchaida Hegde, Maya Hernandez, Rolvan Howard, Jenny Shao, Lauren Huang Finkelman, Hannah Zhang, Karen Kay, Lydia Keene, Ivy Kernitsky, Madison Kuba, Amy Legrandeur, Huan Young Lee, George Liao, Caitlin Liu, Nicole Mackus, William McCumber, Vic Mapson, Elijah Meno, Elizabeth Mercado, Anne Meyer, Miana Muscat, Brenda Nguyen, Lin-Chi Nguyen, Victor Nemec, Marina Olney, Natalie Otero, Anna Pak, Matthew Pimley, Anna Rankin, Matthew Rogers, Vincent Sanchez, Adam Savage, Helena Sherman, Taylor Silva, Alina Stefanko, Eric Sweeney, Damika Thomas, Sophia Tietze, Ivy Tillage, Eve Vasquez, Gil Vitro, Coco Wang, Drew Watson, Michaela Wayne, Cheyenne Wiseman, Caitlin Woodall, John Wright, Deborah Yella, Michael Zadeh, and Sabrina Ziton. Congratulations once more to the class of 2021. We can't wait to follow your successes as you head out into the world, and we really hope that you'll stay in touch with us. Congratulations.